Well, good day, collective. Thank you so much for joining me for your angel messages on Unmasked Universe, where we unmask the universe that lives inside of you. I am thrilled that you're here today. I do not have a crystal today. I'm in a bit of a time crunch, so I've got a couple back-to-back videos to shoot today. But next week I will be returning to that normal schedule. I've got an event to plan in a very short time, so I am feeling a bit pressed this week. I'm being totally honest with you. But it'll all come together. I do trust that everything will come together as it's supposed to. So, hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Welcome in, welcome in. This is one of my favorite things to do too, because honestly, ooh, we got all our cards right away. Honestly, the energy with the angels is just so peaceful. It's so nice. It's so loving. So it raises my vibration so high, and I love to do these messages with the angels. So hopefully you're getting something good out of it, that you're feeling the energy. Huh, okay. This is a combination we have not received yet. So, okay. Big stuff coming through. Big stuff. The first card that we have is Clarity, angel number 543. Trust yourself. Ooh, I got a wave of emotions coming through, and I don't think that was from the angels. I think that was from the collective. I'll touch base on that in just a second. Let's just push that energy aside for a second here. Okay, Clarity, angel number 543. Trust yourself and the universe to make the necessary changes to achieve your goals. Soon you'll gain clarity about your life's purpose. Next card we got is Starting Over, angel number 210. You are presented with the opportunity for a fresh start and new beginnings. Release regrets and embrace the present moment with openness and optimism. And then we have Trust, angel number 232. Trust in yourself and the universe. Have faith in the divine plan and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. Okay, and then the last card we have is angel number 909, Confidence. Things are moving and you need to make a decision. Act with confidence and take a risk. Yeah, okay. So this wave of emotion, let's just tap back into that first since that came in right away. Okay. Ooh, okay. I got it. Ooh, I am covered head to toe with goosebumps right now. Okay, so there's a lot of overwhelm. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of fear in the collective. I can feel a lot of emotion. So what came through immediately was this big wave of um, sadness, but it was coming out of a place of fear. It was coming out of a place of the word desperation even came to mind. So that's not going to apply to all of you in the collective, but it will apply to some of you. Um, Overwhelm, feeling lost. Uh, yeah. So that's some heavy emotions in the collective right now. And definitely with this clarity card, signifying that there is a lot going on that is keeping many of you up in your head right now in the collective. And so they're just letting you know that you have been receiving hints and nudges and like those thoughts about the things that you've been wanting to do. Those are, they're saying, we've been guiding you this way. We've been implementing these, like bringing forth these dreams. That's what they are, dreams, or next steps. And they have been being mostly dismissed, or rationalized away. Okay. And because this is being rationalized away or put off due to fear and anxiety triggers or a sense of overwhelm, what they're saying is that they're actually festering underneath the surface, causing even more of that fear and overwhelm to be triggered. And so the way through this is to understand, um, that those fears, those triggers, all of those things are coming up in order for you to actually face them. They really, really want the people in the collective to face these fears, face the anxiety, face the overwhelm, by looking at it a little bit closer, right? Because when you look at it a little bit closer and you allow yourself to just be present with yourself, to feel those emotions, and to process them essentially without getting sucked into them. Um, what they're saying is you will, by releasing that, you will lighten your energy to such a point that you will receive clarity because you'll no longer be so much in your head. A lot of this fear and anxiety in the collective right now is contributing to this mental fog, to this, confusion. That's what I'm getting. There's a lot of confusion as to next steps, as to what to do, but they're trying to assure you in the collective that, they've been providing you these next steps, and they seem like this big dream or this big task, that is really far away or really difficult to get to from point A to point B. And what they want you to know is that you're at this specific point right now where you have this beautiful opportunity to start anew. They've been giving this opportunity to you because they want you to take action on it. And this opportunity is going to lend, or, how did you put that? Sorry, angels. I dropped that line. This opportunity is going to, oh, pave the way for all of the next steps to come. And they don't want you to get anxious about all the steps in between. They want you just to take the one step at a time. And if it is too difficult, they're saying if it's too big of a project, or too big of a task, break it down into micro steps that are achievable, even if it's 10 minutes a day that you can spend on taking action in that direction or creating something in that direction, is what they're saying. So this is an opportunity. um, so it's going to be different for each of you what you're being asked to do or pursue, or the path that you're, being asked to get into alignment with. But what I am getting is that, um, these dreams, they keep coming through with dreams. They seem like dreams, right? You have these ideas, you have these dreams, you have this desire. That's another word they're really strongly, wanting me to reiterate to you, like desire, these passions. And but they're coming in the form of ideas, they're coming in the form of inspiration. They really need you to start paying attention to these things as they are coming up for you, because they are coming up in order to guide you onto the right, into the opportunity through the doorway, essentially. And in order to fully, um, in order to fully get through the doorway, and not pause in the middle of the doorway, there's some aspect of yourself that you're still needing to let go of. Regret came up here. Yeah. Okay. So living in the past, bringing up a wellspring of past situations, past moments, or holding on to the past still, holding on to regret, holding on to guilt, to shame, to negative self-concepts, to past versions of yourself, or even anger, resentment, bitterness, sadness, wishing that you could have done something different or that you would have, or there's a lot coming through about wishing that you could have or that you would have done something differently that wouldn't have put you in that position to begin with. But they're saying that was part of the plan, that was part of the lesson, and um, the sooner that you're able to see that as a lesson for your benefit, the sooner you can let go of the idea that you could have done anything different. Because what they're telling me is that it wouldn't have mattered if you had said no to that person or situation or dynamic that put you in to the place where you felt as though you were suffering in some manner. It would have come through a different avenue because the lesson was still there that needed to be learned. So it would have happened anyhow, but perhaps with different people or in a different surrounding or at a different job. It would have still happened, but it would have happened with, different people or a different situation. And that's because you still had unhealed things within you that would have attracted that situation to you. So what they're really wanting to get through to you is that it is totally okay to let that go and to find some sort of way to surrender it, but not only find a way to surrender it, but to forgive yourself for what you did not know at the time, right? For walking around carrying around those wounds, those unhealed aspects of self. They want you to really focus on forgiving yourself because again, and I talk about this many times in my channel. This anger or this regret or these feelings are just simply misplaced projections onto other people, right? And so usually it's that we're feeling a certain way about ourselves that we then, because it's unhealed, it's wounded, we then find some other place to displace it on or person to displace it on, right? Rather than taking responsibility for our own emotions. And that's really what it boils down to is that you couldn't change the past. And so there is no point in living in the past, they're saying. They really want you to get this idea of being able to do anything different out of your mind, out of your realm of thought, your school of thought is coming through, and just surrender it by beginning the process of forgiving yourself. So getting to the root cause as to why you are feeling that way to begin with, and where these feelings are being where you're not taking responsibility for your feelings, not for what other people have done, because everybody has their own choice in how they show up in the world, but for your part. And that's going to help you land yourself right on top of this new opportunity, right in the middle of it. They want you to trust in yourself, trust in the universe, have trust and faith that if you are to go into this, even though fear is cropping up, even though, and this is the self forgiveness, is what is coming through. Like, if you are to actually go into that, despite the fear, despite the anxiety that you're feeling, despite all of the resistance you're feeling to actually look at it, you'll find that once you're in it and you feel it and you process it, that it wasn't that scary at all. It's just that we're holding on to it out of this conditioned response, they're saying. Humans can get these conditioned responses, and the only way to change those conditionings, that conditioned response to be scared of looking inwards, is to actually take action on it when it comes up until it becomes a comfortable um, bar of measure that it becomes easy to do. Okay. And the same thing goes here. Looking at yourself in an honest way and understanding that you know, it's first of all, they're saying it's completely okay. It's totally human. And all humans do it. And all humans have been conditioned to do this, some more than others. And then that might be another thing as to how you view this situation. Like um, if you were in a dynamic with and this is from me, not from them, with a narcissist, and I know this to be true, they will condition you throughout the relationship to react to manipulations and gaslighting and triangulation and things like that. So there are conditioned responses which create fear, and that also ties into this because for those of you that are resonating with this, which is why it's coming forward, there may be a lot of resistance to let go of these things because of this pattern of conditioned response. So somebody does something that triggers you that then creates this reaction, right? And this reaction in itself creates shame when you overreact. It's called reactive A, because of course I'm not going to use the actual word, um, but it's called reactive A. And when it happens, it creates a plethora of shame and guilt. And now this shame and this guilt does affect your self concept. And that's why this card, I think, is out here, this confidence card, because they really wanted me to point this out. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come up. That this um, underlying feeling is shame and guilt. Behind the fear, behind the anger, well, behind the anger even is just fear and anxiety and a hurt person, right? But at the deeper core level is this toxic shame, this guilt, which comes from these conditioned responses. And so some of you in the collective are obviously having a difficult time in facing this last leg or this one aspect of yourself that needs to be healed and let go of because of fear in actually coming out of that. There like this motion of it's like your body is here and it's like this aspect of you comes out to retrieve some part of your shadow and bring it back in, right? So it's like you're scared to even leave your shell because in the past when you had done that, then you would have been overtaken by reactions of other people or situations or negativity. We'll leave it at that because that can be applied pretty broadly. But that in itself would suppress you, and then you would further suppress yourself with the guilt and the shame, right? So it creates this really toxic pattern, and they really want everybody in the collective to find this place of confidence within themselves um, by really looking at the underlying pinning to these actual emotions, because fear is one thing, anxiety is one thing, um, love is one thing, but when it's associated with things that affect your self concept, then that in itself is going to keep you stuck in that loop. That in itself is going to prevent you from actually letting go and detaching from what it is that you're suffering from. Because again, in our minds, we can say one thing, we can tell ourselves all we want that a situation has ended or that we're this or that we're that. But if our core beliefs aren't aligned with our self concept, then it doesn't matter what we say, we won't believe it on an internal level. If we don't actually do that healing to heal our core, um, our self concept and our core wounds, then it's very hard to actually make something happen out of a wounded state other than more woundedness. So they just want you to understand how this is affecting your confidence level, um, and that by removing it, whatever it is that you're needing to release at this time, by actually focusing on you going inwards and releasing that aspect, it's going to put you in this position where the opportunities will come in really quickly because a lot of opportunities are waiting for the collective on the other side already. They're already here, but whatever it is that you're holding on to at this time, um, it's affecting your ability to manifest. It is affecting your self-concept and your confidence, and it is affecting pretty much every aspect of your life. And what they're saying is that like there's not, and this is for some of the collective, there's not a lot left to go on this, and that you can do it really easily, but you do have to take some time to do that. For those of you who are just starting off on your journey or who are barely into your journey or just kind of a few months into your journey, there is more work to do, but there are still opportunities waiting for you. And there is something hindering you, but you also, oh, that's interesting. I'm hearing that many of you in the collective who are still kind of in the beginning stages, you have a opportunity to quantum leap through things if you can really be diligent about letting go and surrendering these emotions, um, and the projections that you're actually sending outwards, but are within, because it is affecting your ability to move forward as well. So thank you for that, angels. Appreciate the message. Okay. So your confidence, yeah, your confidence and self-image is the biggest thing to understand here, that it's preventing you from starting over. Okay. Um, there are many opportunities here for the collective right now that they would like to, too many cards, that they would like to, excuse me, align you with. But until this thing is healed, and you've forgiven yourself, your ability to fully step into that is going to be diminished. So you're blocking yourself essentially. All right, angels, what else would you like to add to this message, please and thank you? For the collective for Tuesday, there it is. That one just tried to fly right out. Okay, yeah. So that is in line with what we were just talking about. So angel number 666, reflect. Love, affection, compassion, kindness, attention, self-love. Several unexpected developments will enter your life and impact how you feel. This is a chance to reevaluate your identity. You need a mental shift toward greater optimism, self-assurance, and trust. Put your faith in your gut and inner voice. Pay attention to your feelings and use them to help you become a better person. And that is essentially it, right? Is that when we don't understand where our feelings are coming from, we tend to misplace them, right? And we project them onto other things, situations. Um, we'll make up excuses like, oh, it's my work's fault, because of this and that, and it affects me this way, instead of taking responsibility for it and say, oh, that's just a reflection of something that's going on inside of me that's unhealed, that's wounded still. I see. Okay. So I guess what they're asking you to do also is um, look at life through the lens of curiosity rather than anger or frustration or any of those other things that come up. So when something does happen, be curious about it instead. Instead of getting like reacting to it, get curious about it. Okay, so why is this happening? If everything outside of me is a reflection of something inside of me that's still waiting to be healed, why is it happening? Get curious. How does this situation, how is this situation a reflection of something inside of me? And what is that something? And what is the deeper meaning behind it? Or what is the um, emotion or the situation that is triggering that, right? But also being extremely self-compassionate and kind and loving to yourself because um, by releasing, like it's twofold. Okay. So things are going to come into your life or already are coming into your life to disrupt the balance. And it's going to feel chaotic and it's going to feel challenging and it's going to feel difficult. And there's a reason for it. Um, but they really want you to pay attention to your thoughts, to your feelings, and how you are treating yourself at the same time. Letting go of, again, that guilt, that shame that is underlying by looking at what your relationship to that thing is. What are you getting from it, is what I'm hearing. What are you truly getting from holding on to it or from projecting it towards something or someone else? Because it's benefiting you in some way. So they want you to reflect on that and ask yourself that question, like, how am I benefiting from this? Is it that it's benefiting my body? I'm addicted to that feeling, or because, feelings release chemicals in the body and you can become dependent on those feelings themselves? Or am I getting something out of being a victim? Or am I getting something, maybe it's pity, maybe you're getting support, maybe you're getting something like what are you getting by maintaining that stance, by maintaining that wound, by maintaining this way of being, by holding, oh, my nose is getting itchy, by holding on to whatever it is, what are you gaining from that? There's got to be some sort of reward or payoff for that. And they want you to look at that so that um, you understand what needs to be traded off then or replaced in a healthier manner. Okay. But being kind and loving to yourself is not just about doing it in the moment. It's about being kind and loving to your future self and to your past versions of self. And that doesn't mean going and dredging up and living in the future and living in the past and like worrying and, dredging up the past, but it means that you should consider for whatever you're doing now, doesn't matter like what it is, it's all across the board. They're saying, consider how your future self would feel if you kept doing that, or if you kept holding on to that, or if you kept behaving in a certain way. How would it affect your future self? Would you be happy with yourself in the future? And if not, does that create guilt and shame? And this is a part of the letting go too, is that this guilt and shame is so toxic, it's affecting every aspect of your life and it's holding you back. So, how do you release that guilt and shame? Um, or how do you make better decisions for your future self so that you can align with your future self and that you can be successful and happy and free and liberated? So these are some questions to ponder. Now, take it as it resonates because I've just been told that that will not apply to every single person, or if you're not understanding what it is I've just said, then you're not there yet. And so that part of the message was not for you. So take it as it resonates for each of you because, again, um, we don't want to force any message to fit. It should be confirmation, or it should awaken some aspect of you, or it should illuminate something within you so that you understand it, or that's a sign that you're understanding it, is what I'm trying to say. Um, so again, the words trust is coming up twice. And that is really indicating that, there is a strong portion of the collective who is having difficulty in trusting, in surrendering that control, in just trusting what is happening for you. And this is bringing up this past stuff. This is one of the things that is actually bringing up the past, like wanting or wishing that you could have done something different, living in regret, living in these states of being where um, you imagine that something could have been different, right? So starting over there saying is difficult. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but the reason why it has to be more difficult is because what is on the other side is so exemplary and something you've never experienced, and learning to trust is at the forefront. Because if you can't even trust Source and Source's plan for you and the divine plan for you for your own self, then everything else will be inaccessible, they're saying. And so it's really part of the message here about the self concept is really about learning to trust yourself first and foremost. And that will enable you to develop this sense of trust for everything else. But you have to trust in Source, in faith, have trust and faith in your capacity to make decisions that are healthy for you. You have to trust in your ability to hear the guidance, to feel the guidance, to sense the guidance, to make or take the right actions forward and the steps that you need to take forward in order to develop more trust within yourself and more security within yourself. So I'm getting that there is a lot to do with this insecurity and anxiety coming up, and this fear has to do with your own ability to trust yourself, because everything else is based on that trust as well. And if you don't trust yourself, say to make good decisions, whether that be in career or in love or with friends, or doesn't matter, or even just make a simple decision at the grocery store. If you don't cultivate this sense of trust within yourself, then you will continue to bring these types of negative situations into your life where there will not be that sense of trust and there will not be love. Even if it starts off good, it will always go back to the same thing because you don't trust yourself enough to make good decisions. And so they're really bringing in this word trust, having confidence in your ability to cultivate that within your own self concept is going to be extremely important at this time. So I'm going to close it off with one of these angel cards. Thank you, angels, for that. Which card is most suited right there? Okay. Mystique. Keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. So again, letting go of the fear that you don't know the whole plan, because you're going to be given one step at a time. That's what you can handle, right? You don't need to know the whole plan. If you're given the whole plan, you'd probably freak out. So let's be honest, right? You'd probably freak out, feel overwhelmed, and then not do anything at all. It would create some sort of fight, flight, fawn, or freeze response within you, likely, or procrastination or something, right? It would trigger something, and so it would be just too much for you to handle. And they want you to know, like, so long as you keep putting that one foot in front of the other, right? heeding the information that they're giving you, taking some time to work through these fears and doing it anyways, taking some time to address the underlying currents of mistrust within your own self and your own ability to make good decisions, building that sense of trust within yourself with your inner child, integrating past versions of self where it's needed, um, and also cultivating a sense of worth and eliminating the guilt and the shame because those are really toxic and they're holding you back. These things are going to amplify your confidence, and you don't need to do it all in one shot. But there is something very specific that they say you are already aware of what I'm talking about. There is something very specific that you're holding on to still, that you're not taking responsibility for and forgiving yourself about, or healing, or letting go. There's something so specific that each of you are resonating with that. And that's the thing. That's the thing right now. Right now, that is the thing holding you back and it's creating more of that toxic shame and guilt. So it's time to address that. They want you to take some steps in that direction, and understand that you're at the precipice of this new beginning, or you're already on the doorstep of it, but you're not through the door yet. And it's this thing that is energetically weighing you down from having a better life. So it's time to let go of that, okay? All right, my loves. That is where I am going to end it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, feel free to join our beautiful, vibing community of light. For all those who are returning subscribers, I love you so much and I appreciate all of the energy that you contribute to this channel. You know that we couldn't have this channel without a beautiful community like you, so thank you. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care for now.